Hey everyone, we just want to welcome you to the Stone Church podcast. We have some great guests with us today and also very close friends, Tony and Susan Palow from Married for Life
Yeah, you
Ministries.
got it.
And we're here to just kind of talk with them and hear what they're doing. Tonight we're going to be having a Married for Life conference at Stone Church. This is now our second one.
Correct.
And would you guys, why don't you tell us a little bit about the ministry, what you focus on, what you guys do?
Well, the ministry, we started the ministry, I would say about unofficially like 20 years ago. Was
Sure.
when we started doing marriage coaching. And we didn't,
Counseling.
we didn't realize we were marriage coaching because we were doing marriage counseling.
Yes,
And
yes.
then we did the switch to coaching. And then when the whole coaching trend came out, we were like, hey, that's what we're doing.
And so what's the difference? Because like even when you guys came here,
Right.
Yeah.
like
Right.
you were telling me,
hmm
we have Married for Life ministry now, and we're coaches and
Right. Right.
not counselors and so on.
Right. So the big difference, and we always try to explain the difference, right?
Hmm.
When anytime we come to a coaching event, we talk about difference because people come thinking we're marriage counselors. So we always say counseling is past and coaching is future.
Future.
Yeah.
We like to
And
say that everybody's future is bright.
yeah,
Marriage was God's idea. He wants us to have a bright
mhm.
future in our marriages.
And sometimes it's important to visit the past, but the problem with that is in our visiting we end up staying.
Right.
And so
Absolutely.
and
I'll tell you the big
yeah,
difference for me with coaching and counseling is because we did marriage counseling for a
for
lot of
a long
years in
time,
ministry.
right?
Yeah,
Even
you pastor North Providence Assembly of
For
God,
20
now
years.
called
Restoration Church.
Restoration
that's
Church, and
right.
you guys
Right.
were there how long?
19 years.
Yeah,
19
wow.
years. Yep. Yep.
Awesome.
So we found that, of course, starting out, you want to do everything right. You want to
Right.
help the people that getting married,
Right.
premarital counseling, they're having some troubles, come and have some
hmm
counseling with Pastor Tony and Susan, you know. And we,
hmm
time after time, we found that we'd set up an appointment, we'd meet with the couple, they'd come in, and one would be all there, eager and happy to be there, and the other person would be being dragged along,
Right. Right.
So
Right.
we were like, okay, and
Eh, Yeah.
my husband used to always say to the people like, how invested are you in this
Yeah.
marriage?
Right.
And if the guy was like saying like 75, the woman's like
Right.
100%, and I'm 75%. My husband be
hmm
like, listen, when you're 100%, dude,
And come
come
back.
back,
Yeah.
come back and we'll talk.
And that's
Yeah.
why we talk about the difference because a lot of people will come to these events thinking we're counselors and they'll have the wall up. You know.
Well, like even, and I share that with you guys.
Right.
Um, I do not like all the marriage, like all the counseling
Right.
seminars and all
Right.
that stuff.
Right. I get it.
Honestly,
I get it.
it's like it drives
Right.
me crazy.
Me
Like
too.
Right.
worst pastor in the world
I
didn't
know.
say that,
I know.
right? But when you guys came, like
hmm
it revolutionized
Hmm.
my marriage and my wife,
Yeah.
mine and my
Excellent.
wife's marriage. Like it really did. Like it
Excellent.
was, because for the first time I felt like, we're not doing the counseling thing where we're going to go back and just
hmm
continually revisit. Because
Hmm.
what happened in the past, both parties have a different view of it.
Sure.
Yes.
It's not going to
Right.
change.
Right.
Hmm.
And
Right.
even if it does, you just rehash the same thing.
Right.
But I
Right.
felt like you really gave us tools to like
Yeah.
develop
Yeah.
from where
Yeah.
we are,
Hmm.
you know?
And the thing is that now I'm a counselor. I have a degree. I'm a
You,
clinical
uh,
a-
uh, Pastor Tony was actually my counseling
professor. That's
professor
right.
in
And
college.
so I have a clinical degree. So now I'm a coach. So what happens is when couples come to see us, what is it? 99% of the time, they've already been to marriage counseling.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, that's great. That means you picked up the tools. That means you visited the past. That means you gleaned. So now we can take all those things now and build something for the future. But oftentimes they've been in counseling for 5, 10, 17 years,
Rehashing,
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 Yeah.
rehashing,
and they come to
And
me.
it just puts more burden, and we talked about this a lot.
Yeah,
Some of you heard,
rehashing.
like it just keeps putting more burden on you instead of
right,
like really giving you hope.
right,
Yes.
right.
It's like if you had when you said, we're coaches, not counselors, I was thinking, what if my football coach was a football
Yeah,
counselor
right, right. Yeah,
Exactly.
and he just rehashed what happened in the
Yeah,
last
that's our
game?
example
yeah.
that
There
we
would be,
use.
yeah, there would be no winning.
Yes.
If you have an opportunity to, hang out with a professional ball player
Yeah.
Right.
and he says, hey, I'm giving you 3 hours of my time.
hmm
And he's like, meet me down at the Starbucks and you sit and talk to him for 3 hours.
Yeah.
That's great.
Right.
But hey, if you turn
Right.
around and he says, "Hey, you got 3 hours of my time," and he takes you on the field, he says, "Come in your
Right.
uniform,
Right. Right.
Yeah,
bring your
it's
equipment, let's go, we'll
Yeah.
it's
tweak."
rejuvenating. It's
Yeah,
exciting.
Right. Right.
I'd
Yeah.
pick the field every time.
So that's
You
the
know,
physiology. That's the movement, right?
Right.
Motion determines emotion. Physiology determines psychology.
Right.
Psychology is important, but after a while, and I'm talking as a counselor, after a while, we got to say, okay, what did we learn? How long do you want to dwell there? Let's move and create a sense of physiology. Let's put into movement emotion. Motion determines emotion.
and let
Yeah,
me tell
when
yeah.
you move forward like that, for like the normal
Right.
person who doesn't understand all of
Correct.
that,
Right.
it's like you're not denying or refusing to look at the past, but what happens is you just can't fix it, and it creates
Exactly.
hopelessness.
That. Yeah.
Mhm.
In
Mm-hmm.
the way that you two coach, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that was all well and good.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's work on tomorrow, where we're going from here. I
Right.
don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It just alleviates
And
the
it's not
stress and
even
all of
it's not even like in the counseling perspective. Sometimes we need to visit it, not to fix it, but to give it resolve.
it. Right.
It's like, okay, let's get a perspective from this. We may never come to terms and completely fix it,
Mhm.
but we can give it perspective to
Right.
say, Lord, redeem it now so that we can move forward with this.
So what are some of the topics that you guys
Mhm.
work on, that you focus on when you're
Well, tonight,
doing these sessions?
so tonight we're doing part 2 with you
Don't spill
guys.
the beans.
No,
I
I'm
don't
not gonna
want to
spill the
know.
beans. I'm not gonna give you too much insight. The filters of communication is a big deal for us, and tonight we're doing part 2. John Bowlby, he's he's the one that created and came up with the term attachment theory, and he says that every person is designed to desire connection,
Right.
and how we, even in a church, think about it, right? And we find those secure connections when we feel seen, heard, and understood. I mean, think about that in marriage. How easy is it to have our spouse see them, hear them, understand them?
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Mhm.
In those 3 things, did you hear agree?
It sounds really simple, doesn't it? And yet people struggle with it.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
But
I'm
we-
thinking
but we
about
take-
what you're
we-
saying. And I'm like, yeah, I'm saying yes, and on the inside, it's like I have no idea
No,
what
but
my
we
wife's
take those
thinking.
3 things to say, I don't agree with you. I
Yeah.
hear you, but
Well, I think
which is
that's
so
what.
unnecessary.
Yeah, I think that's why it's so important for, like, Pastor Adrian, for you to do things like this in your
Right.
church and other
So
other churches do
important.
this. To set time apart to just think about these things, to set
Right.
time apart to invest in our marriage.
Right.
We invest in so many things. So many things are so important. We spend our money here, we spend our money there, we invest in this, invest in that, and here we are floating around in our marriage, not taking the time.
What do you think are the biggest deterrents for couples to come to something like this? Because it always seems like,
Yeah.
like you're
It's
pulling
like
teeth.
pulling
Like even
teeth.
last time
Yeah.
you were here, like trying to get people to come.
Right.
Even me, I was like, okay, we're gonna do that. I have to be
Yeah.
there.
I
I'm the
have to be there.
pastor.
But now you're different. Now it's
But
I
it was
yeah.
so good.
Right.
But what are some of the biggest
I think a couple of things
deterrents?
people don't know what to expect.
right. They're nervous.
Or they're afraid that they're going to be called out, or they're afraid they're going to be blamed, or they're
Mhm.
afraid that
Mhm.
their wife is going to nudge them and say, "See," you know.
Especially the husbands, right? Because the husbands are the ones typically that are picked on,
Right.
and they're typically in the hot seat, right?
Well, we try not to pick on the
Yeah,
husbands.
yeah, we do sometimes, but I think the not knowing what to expect
Yes.
and just being afraid, the fear of it.
Or like if something happened in the past
Mhm.
and say, it was the husband,
Right.
stepped out or whatever like that,
Mhm.
they feel like, okay, now we're in a place where we're not fighting, so I
Mhm.
don't want to stir the pot.
Right.
Let's just leave it as it is.
Right.
We're a little bit dysfunctional right now. Things are not great, but they're not bad.
Right.
Let's not stir the pot. So I think a little bit of fear of stirring the pot,
Mhm. Mhm.
and bringing these things to the surface that
Yeah.
have not yet been healed
Right.
correctly, cause people a little angst.
The biggest reason that we've see where people have just like, I ain't doing that, is just there a lot of hurt, unmet needs,
Right.
right? If someone's needs are not met, they shut down. The unmet needs, we call it the scar tissue effect, right? Scar tissue is evident that if you have scar tissue in your own body, you
Right.
healed, but you healed wrong. And think about that in the marriage, emotionally, spiritually. I healed, but I healed wrong, and I'm okay until I bump into somebody in church, or I have an interaction with my spouse that I just explode.
And like, whoa, 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 what happened?
Yeah, it's like, what's
Right.
going
Yeah.
on? It's because even scar tissue in our body, the only time we feel that discomfort is when there's weird atmospheric pressure or weather or rain or humidity.
I think we talked about it the last time I was here, about
Yeah.
because I'm a nurse, I'm an
Right.
RN, so I love
Right.
wound care, and a lot of times, back in the olden days, when they did abdominal surgeries, they'd open you up,
Right.
so we had
Oh.
to, go and make sure the person healed from the bottom up,
Right.
tertiary healing from the bottom up,
Right.
because a lot of times if people were left untreated, they would heal on the top, but underneath there'd be all that pus and all that nonsense. So, we use that a lot as an example in our marriages, like they look fine on the outside,
Right.
and the minute something happens, a minute a bump in the road
Right.
comes, a minute life happens,
All the pus comes out.
exactly,
Right.
yeah, and they get bumped into all
Yay.
this green and smelly and stinky stuff comes, and you have to start over. You have to open
Yeah.
it up,
Yes.
clean it out, let the Holy Spirit do its work, and
Right.
heal the right way, and you know what? There's freedom on the other end. So there's really nothing to worry about. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to be anxious about. Coaching, if you ever have an opportunity to come to a marriage coaching conference,
Definitely.
step out and come, because it's worth it.
Yeah.
Because the Lord is on your side. He wants you not to live in mediocrity. He wants you to live in abundant life, in
Absolutely.
an abundant marriage. And it's, it's
And then, for the people that,
worth
and then
it.
there's people that truly need marriage counseling.
Right.
And I'll say, listen, go see a marriage counselor.
Well, there's trauma, there's
Right.
pain that's unresolved, things that need to be
Right.
reconciled. Sure.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I can pretty much tell if they're ready for marriage coaching. We can tell. And I'll send them a list of questions, 5 questions, as far as what work or efforts have you put towards the marriage? Have you ever been in marriage counseling? And they'll usually tell me, what are you willing to do now to level up this marriage? What are you willing to do to level up this marriage? And they'll often go, well, he has to or she has to. So it's a lot
Right,
of blaming and
right.
finger pointing
Yeah.
back and forth,
Right.
right?
And really, coaching is about self-application.
Absolutely. Let's
you know,
go.
taking information and a
Getting
coach
out in
can't
the
make
field.
you do something.
Right.
Right. Absolutely.
I'm reminded as you're telling that story years ago, where I'm going to tell on us now.
Mhm.
Years ago, we were in situations where we were trying to help people, help young marrieds, and they're sitting there, and my husband looked at me and he said, "We're working harder than these guys."
Yeah.
He says, "Get out of my office.
right.
Get out of my office.
Yeah,
When you're ready
yeah.
to work, we're working harder than you.
I'm
Why are
working
we?
harder
Why
than
are we working
you."
harder than you guys?
Right. That's a great point. I don't think a lot of people think about that.
It's like, I'm pushing your car. I'm helping you push your car. The battery's dead, but I'm pushing harder than you are.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what are you guys working on now? Like, what
We
you
are.
were talking about a book?
Yeah, we're working on a book.
Yay!
Yeah,
Finally.
and we really
the book
wanted
is all
to
here and
make
here,
this.
but it's not here yet.
Yeah, it's in the process of being edited, but we really wanted it to be different. There's a lot of marriage resources out there, and we wanted to create a coaching manual. And so we talked about this last time. It's 66 days to live out a new habit, right? After 66 days, that habit. But we
So
said,
he wanted to name the book 66 Days In. And
Right.
I said, oh, no, that sounds too much like 666.
So
we figured it
66
out.
days
Right.
is 9.5 weeks. So we just let's
We
just
said 10 weeks
10
in.
weeks. 10 weeks in.
Yeah, you can't say 9.5 weeks because
I know.
that's kind of a
Exactly.
inappropriate
Another
movie.
inappropriate
Yeah.
movie,
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, who are these people? I'm going to this coaching session.
I'm gonna buy their book. So 10 weeks in, a coaching guide to a kingdom marriage.
Yeah.
So it's a coaching manual.
I
and-
wanted to write something. My husband and I wanted to write something that if you pick it up and you thumb through it, you're like, oh, I could do this.
Yep.
Nothing
Right.
that's too much of a chore. Not something that I'm going to have to force my husband to do with me. Something that he's going to say, this is easy, I can do this. Something that would be that.
But we-
So
yep.
hopefully
Yep.
the way, and I think it's coming out that way, it's going to be a reflection of us. So it'll kind of be like
Right.
having us with you while you're doing the book.
And that's important because that's really, like from my observation, your marriage coaching ministry really revolves around continued relationship with all your churches.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Like you were
That is
here
so
when in
important.
September,
We were here in
Mhm.
September.
and then you came back in
and
February.
then we're going coming back in
And
September.
you know, all
right?
our momentum is like starting to putter out, and you're
Yes.
back just in the nick of time. But there's been some great work, and you'll see it.
Yes,
You'll
excellent.
see it in some of the couples
It makes me
Excellent.
so happy to
that you
hear.
minister
Yeah,
to.
Very
Like
that's
exciting.
really,
awesome.
like you know, some of them we come into church on Sunday morning. I see them in church together every Sunday, and I'm like,
Woo,
Yeah.
wow,
woo,
you're
woo,
here
woo.
again.
That's
Like you're
Yes,
doing
that's
great.
awesome.
You know,
Yeah.
it's
That's great.
awesome.
It does my heart good.
And
Yeah.
and you see that, and so this ongoing relationship, you
Mhm.
know, is so important for the style.
Right.
You
Mhm.
know, I think that
Right.
you guys bring
Yep.
as opposed to just like a marriage conference. Someone comes
Right.
in,
Right.
Yeah.
And
you know,
I'll
they
see
charge a
you.
lot of money. They
Yeah,
do, you know,
I'll
the
see
whole
you
thing.
later,
They make
whatever.
everyone angry and
Right.
cry,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
and then they leave, and you feel hopeless.
And you know,
As
I want.
opposed to this
Mhm.
ongoing relationship.
And
So
the thing is, think about anybody who's ever been coached in sports, in gymnastics, at the gym, a trainer. There's a connection there. It's a relationship,
right,
and
Yeah.
oftentimes,
building on the work you've done.
yeah,
Right.
and we think when you go to the gym, you go pump iron, you're like, I did good. But when you have a trainer, they'll push you harder than you really
Yes.
than you think you can go.
And I
Yes.
think that part of our ministry, as you
Mhm.
can chime in if you
Yeah,
want, but
chime in.
a big part of our ministry is that we have curriculumized our own marriage. And so we
Yeah,
want people to
right.
know that we are on our own journey.
Right,
Right.
right.
So
Right.
as we go through things, we say, hey, that would be a good session, you know.
Yeah.
When we go into a funk, we're
And
like, I'm going to
as we
turn this
go
into
through
a session.
things, and you know, and we have, you know, a little bit of a conflict, and we have resolve. We're like this, oh wow, thank you, Lord, for helping us and giving
Right.
us insight on this, because now we
Absolutely.
know. So we want people to know that,
Right,
you know,
right.
we're not experts.
And
Right.
We're married, we love each other.
Yeah.
We believe in, you know, Jesus, that he's, you know, supreme, and we're married for his sake, not our own. We want people to know that we're on our own
Right.
journey. Come along with us, you
Right,
know.
right.
Absolutely.
It's engaging the principles faster. Just discipleship. We know what we need to do. We know what needs to be done, and we don't want to be that, you know, that typical contractor where he works and builds homes, but he's got so much undone work in his own
Right.
home. You know,
Right.
we want to be people that we can teach the principles and then practice those principles at home.
Yes.
And then what's keeping us from engaging the principles?
Right.
Nothing.
I
Yeah.
love that you said, you know, it helps you get through it faster.
Right.
You
right.
know, we
Engage
we
those
tell a story about like when we were first married. You know, we were really good fighters, both of
Yeah.
us, really good at it.
Gosh.
You know, and so like we could get into a fight. We could be fighting for like
Yeah.
5, 6, 7, 8 days,
Yeah,
no problem.
We were
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, we
Dig in.
and yeah,
That's the way to
yeah.
do it.
Adrian,
And
I
like,
was good.
we
Yeah.
have really,
I was really good.
we really chiseled it down. Like we could get into something and we could be like done in like 8 minutes.
We're like this.
Like,
This is not
because
worth it.
life is too short.
Right.
Life is too
Right.
short.
Right.
You know, this whole winner loser
Yeah.
thing. We
And
you know,
but if it's important, we say let's knuckle down
Exactly.
and let's get this resolved. here.
exactly.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, that's a major component to
Mhm.
the resolution,
Mhm.
you know, bringing resolve to situations.
Yeah, but we're all on the journey
Yeah.
together. We're just here. The Lord has us in this season now, of trying
Come
to
on.
you know do this ministry to help other people, and
Mhm.
we're doing it with all of our heart and all of our
Mhm.
might. And it's basically new for us, you know, doing it full time.
Yeah,
You're-
We love
you've
it.
been on the road now what?
A year and 1.5 months.
Oh wow.
Full time.
Wow. That's incredible.
It
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And what are some of, you know, what are like when you look over the last 14 months,
Mhm.
what's one of the really big wins you have seen,
Yeah.
or one of the big success stories?
Yeah, well, we love it. It happened here when because we're not just up there lecturing or teaching or preaching.
Right.
It's very interactive, and when couples open up, we go into coaching mode, and then we always give, we're led by the Spirit in this. I don't think it's ever backfired on us, but when people just start to open up, we'll just go into coaching mode, and I'll ask questions and press. I'm like, listen, if you're uncomfortable, just do this, right? Um, the biggest wins for us is when we see couples in real time, high definition, 4K,
Yeah.
be healed and restored, like on the spot, and broken and humbled, and then they're in church together. Those are the wins for
Yeah.
us.
Absolutely.
We love
I have a
those.
great story that really,
We
really
love
affected me
those.
early on in
Yeah.
the beginning. I think it was let's see, February, March,
Probably a year
April.
ago.
Yeah, around April of our first year,
Mhm.
we went to do
New Hampshire.
yes. You
Yeah,
know
I
my
know.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
So we get out with, we've been there a couple of times already now to this church,
Mhm,
and we get out, and it's a country church,
mhm,
and we get out and of the car, and we see this carload of three couples,
mhm,
Hispanic couples, and
mhm.
this wasn't a Hispanic church.
Yeah, we're in New
And
Hampshire.
my
Yeah.
husband's Puerto Rican, and so we noticed him right away. And Anthony's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
look." And so we see the pastor, and he comes over, and I said, "Oh, I see that nice carload of people over there."
Yeah,
He says, "Oh yeah." He says,
they're coming
"They
from
called, and
Boston.
they came from Boston.
Nice.
They
Yeah.
said that they heard you, and they knew you, and they saw your name, and they asked if they could
Yeah,
come,
we
and they brought
recognize
two
the one
friends."
couple. Yeah.
So a woman comes over to us and
Mhm.
with her husband, and she says, "Hi, I don't know if you remember me." And I was like, I mean, she looked familiar, but I didn't really remember her.
Right.
And she says, "We came to You're Married for Life 10 years ago."
10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
Exactly, because we were doing it like sporadically
We were doing
over the
this
years.
for 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You
Yeah.
just weren't.
Yeah.
It wasn't official. It became.
Gotcha.
We were
It
doing
became
it like once every other month.
right because I
you
was
know.
pastoring, right?
Okay.
And then we turned it into 501c about 5 years ago.
And then we started doing it with our own people.
Right.
And so we would have weekends, and so people would
Right.
invite friends, and they would come.
Gotcha.
So she said, this is my husband.
We
And
did a
she's
session 10 years ago.
we came to a session 10 years ago, and we came because my girlfriend invited us to come, and it was a last ditch effort for us.
Mhm.
And she said, and coming to that weekend, she said, saved our marriage. And she said, we still reset. We still reset.
Yeah. She said
that-
we still
back in the
practice
day,
the principles.
Back in the day, our big spiel was reset.
And can you explain real quick
Yeah,
what
go ahead,
the
honey.
Yeah, reset. Any mechanical device, any electronic device, your iPhone, your cell phone. I don't know. Androids have reset.
I don't know.
who cares?
Yeah, piece of garbage. Your router, your computer, every device has our dishwasher
Has to reset.
how to
Yeah, thank
reset it,
God,
you
yeah.
know. And what it does is it works out all the kinks, right? And it sets it back to its manufacturer's settings,
Right.
and all the weird algorithms and configurations that your phone picks up is because of your own habits, right?
Right.
Just by pushing the button. It
And
seems
just
hard,
right.
but it's
and
really not.
So it sounds simplistic, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if there's real issues, reset obviously is not going to work.
And so, in terms with this young couple,
yeah.
Right.
so what was the application of
So
that?
it was
What
their.
did that look like for?
We helped them create a vision statement. This was in
All right, you had us do that.
Yes.
That was fantastic.
Yes.
10 years. She says we created our vision statement.
She said we still use our vision statement,
And
and
it
she
saved
says,
us.
and our vision statement on our reset has saved us 3 times over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Just for our
I
viewers,
started to cry.
This,
She made me cry.
Mhm.
for our viewers, because that was so incredible. I've never had anyone do this.
Mhm.
I've written vision statements for
Mhm.
churches and businesses, sub S corporations. I started right,
yeah, right.
everything. We've never written one out for a marriage, like a
Mhm.
vision statement for a marriage.
What is it? What's yours?
I'm gonna have to go.
Wow.
I'm gonna have to reset and go back and read it.
Text your wife real
But
quick.
it was like, to me, that was so revelational. Like
Right.
that was really
Yeah,
incredible.
Yeah.
And
So she came along, and she
Yeah.
wanted to see. She saw our name
so
on
cool.
Facebook or whatever, and she said she brought her 2 friends, and we had a great day. And it
so
was-
after they shared that with you, did you remember? Did you remember?
I
them?
remembered that.
yeah,
That was in Lowell, Massachusetts. a
Oh,
church in
sure.
Lowell,
Mhm.
Massachusetts. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, because this was
That
such a
was it.
major, big move for us, a life change.
Right.
I've been Pastor Tony's
Mm-hmm.
wife for 33 years, and now I'm working with him.
Mhm.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
I love it.
Mhm.
It's always been in my heart. It's always been in my spirit. I feel like the Lord has called me to this,
And we
called
get
us to
and we
this.
get to travel.
And throughout this last, 13 months or so, I feel like every time I turn around, I'm getting confirmation from the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And I call them winks from Jesus.
Yeah.
Every time
This
I
is
need
what we're supposed
a
to be
little,
doing.
yeah, a little
Yeah.
thing comes up, Jesus gives me a wink. I got you, Sue.
Yeah.
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 And I'm walking right. We're just walking right now and trying to be led by the Spirit and trying to be, there's a lot of people out there that are doing marriage stuff like this, especially out in the Midwest and in California and stuff. Not so
Right.
much in the Northeast, but where we're from. But our edge is that we really are firmly, truly believe that the Lord is preparing, the Holy Spirit prepares the way before us. And I really feel like he's given us, even though we use the same material over and over again, we never present our stuff the same way.
Sure.
It's always tweaked.
It's always
It's
tweaked.
always
So
tweaked.
the Holy Spirit
I mean,
just
even in this,
tweaks it to the people in the
even
room,
on the vision statement
Right.
that we've been teaching for
That's what makes a
15
difference.
years. I
Well,
mean,
and you can even tell, like, when you were teaching,
right.
when you were here the first time,
Mhm.
like the way you guys teach and flow with it, you can never repeat.
Right, right.
Sometimes I wish it was recorded. Like sometimes we're someplace and it's
Yeah.
not being
Well, people-
recorded.
And then
Right.
people
like,
will
"Oh, that
ask
was
us, "Do you
good."
rehearse this?" We're like, "No, we just kind of,
Right.
Yeah, we
we
rehearsed
don't
it for
wing
the
it.
last 33 years, screaming to each other from
Yeah,
the bathroom,
you
in
know?
the kitchen.
And then we the big thing for us is teaching. We're doing an event in March in a church in Florida, and they want us to, and we do mention it, kingdom marriage, but they're like, we want you to just talk about kingdom and marriage. And kingdom is following God's
Yes.
agenda, right? Now, if we were to incorporate that into our marriage, following God's agenda for your marriage, that's it.
Yes.
That's discipleship. The spirit of discipleship is to be kingdom minded first in your home. Your first,
Amen. Absolutely.
your first work is in your home.
Absolutely.
That's it.
And the acknowledgement that, we're married for Christ's sake,
For his
not our
benefit,
own.
for his
We're married for
benefit.
kingdom benefit,
Right.
Right.
not our own.
Right.
It changes everything.
I hear that in a lot of marriages.
Yeah.
Couples are
Mhm.
they're like, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
You got
I'm
the
like,
jokes.
yes, exactly.
You got the jokes.
It is. It is, for Christ's sake. Amen.
Oh my gosh.
So where do you guys go from here? I know you're taking off tomorrow
Yeah,
morning. and-
tomorrow we actually landed. We got in Chicago this morning. You picked this up.
Thank you for
and
that.
then tomorrow
Yeah.
we'll be
super early
and then
in the morning.
and then tomorrow morning we'll be in Indiana, just right over the border.
Yeah, so if we all look exhausted in this,
That's why.
they more than me.
It's
I
because
had
I
to
did-
get up
2
at
o'clock
5,
in the
but they
morning.
were up at 2 o'clock in the morning to fly here to
I
be.
did sleep a little bit on your couch.
Yeah. So that's
And then,
awesome.
yeah,
And
so-
so you're going to be in Indiana?
We'll be in Indiana tomorrow, and then next weekend we'll be in Rhode Island, and then after that this month we'll be in Rhode Island mostly. So this is the only out of town.
You should be going to Florida.
Yeah,
We
we
were
just
in
came back from
And
Florida.
it was 32 degrees.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We were. I was there with my daughter. It was freezing.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, let's and yeah,
Well,
We got-
awesome. And then you're back with us again in
in
September.
September, correct.
So listen, if you all, if you're struggling with your marriage, I will tell you,
Even if you're not.
even if you just want a stronger kingdom marriage, I could tell you as someone who does marriage counseling and someone who's been through
Mhm.
marriage counseling, this is next level. I mean, what you guys do is next level.
Mm.
It really is revolutionary.
Thank you.
I also love you guys
Yeah,
very much.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
We've known each
It
other
helps,
for a long
you know,
time.
We
yeah,
love you
it
too.
helps, we love
But
you too.
when I tell you the ministry they bring
Mhm.
and the platform that they apply it with really is life changing, and it brings, it doesn't load you up with burden and exhaustion and hopelessness. It gives you faith to really
Mhm.
be everything
Like
you
there
can be in
could
your
change is
marriage, right?
possible.
That's right.
So if you want more information, we'll post that after the this video.
Right.
You can call the church at 708-385-2770. You can call Stone Church and get more information about their ministry. We can let you know where they're going to be. And if you're in the area, plan on being with us September. We will be releasing those dates and having giving you the ability to sign up for that.
And they can follow us on Facebook and then get ready
Absolutely.
for and
Can
get
you
ready
get
for
that
a
Yes, on
yeah.
Facebook we are Marriage for Life. You'll see our picture.
You'll see our picture.
And on Instagram we are Coaching Marriages. You'll see our picture, and we're also on YouTube as Marriage
Awesome.
for
I
Life
think
as
we
well.
could put the links for that
Yep. We'll put all
at the
links
bottom
in.
of the video. And
Yep,
so,
yep.
Tony, Sue,
Excellent.
love you guys.
Yes.
We're so grateful.
Thanks for
for
having
you.
us.
And, yeah, we're looking for a
Yeah, it
great
was
time.
great
Excellent.
talking to you today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. All right. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.